I want to give you some amazing tips. I want to thank you guys for your feedback and questions and different topics that you would like me to talk about today. And I want to say to you what we want to do is we're setting up a Facebook group. And if you have an amazing name that you want us to call the group, feel free to share. So today we want to thank Chantel for this amazing topic. And the topic is around healthy eating on a budget. And her comment was, it costs too much to eat healthy. And I want to counter that with saying we really have to count the cost. What is the true cost? So, not getting too much heavy into statistics, but I think this is something that you should know. In 2021, the US healthcare spending reached $4.3 trillion, dollars, which averages $12,900 per person with healthcare. The other statistic is the National Cancer Institute calculated that the average cost of medical care and drugs to an individual with a cancer diagnosis is $42,000. Now, people that's diagnosed with diabetes, their average expenditure is $16,752 per year, with about $9,601 attributed to diabetes. One of the biggest culprits of today that cost a lot in terms of healthcare is basically cancer and heart attacks, heart disease. So we don't want to talk a lot about gloom or doom, but we do want to say when you add up the cost in reference to saying that it's too expensive to eat healthy, think about the opposite or the other end of the spectrum in healthcare cost. So for you to get out and work out, it could cost you anywhere from $10 a month to $0 if you do it in your home. If you have YouTube, you turn on the YouTube and you find someone that's going to exercise with you. The other thing you could do is just exercise on the commercials. So I want to actually encourage you that it really is going to cost you less to eat healthy and to exercise. The key is to get started. You're saying, Dr. Francis, I live in a food desert. There's a lot of food insecurities in our community. We are not close to a fresh garden or a grocery store that has fresh produce. What are some things that we can do? Now, this is some tips that you can do to help you eat on a budget, whether you're in a food desert or you just want some cost saving tips. So buy products with a long shelf life. When you're shopping, stock up on things that won't spoil right away, like food that you can refrigerate, like potatoes, sweet potatoes, carrots, beets, and butternut squash. Those are some vegetables that has a longer shelf life. And so that's one way that you can save money. Another thing is choose frozen products. You can swap out canned fruits and vegetables to frozen ones. They're a little bit more healthier. We know that eating live foods that are fruits and vegetables that are not canned, that's not frozen, that are fresh, that is the best. But we're talking about how to eat on a budget. But you want to choose frozen products. That would be really good. Sometimes it's cheaper. And they can definitely last longer in your freezer. Those are things like spinach and collard greens and broccoli, carrots. Those are some things that you want to buy frozen. You want to also load up in your pantry on things that are staple, like your oatmeal, your oats, your nuts, your seeds, your brown rice, your dried beans, and your lentils. Any kind of um, What you want to do is soak your beans in a jar. Always have beans soaking in a jar so when you're ready to cook the beans, they're ready. And so you don't have to say, oh, I don't want to eat any beans, or I'm going to go out and grab some fast foods. You always want to have some beans soaking. What I do is I make a batch of kale or collard greens, and then what I'll do, I'll make a big old pot of collard greens and kale, and I will freeze it and put it in individual bags. So when I need my vegetables and I want to eat healthy, I already have it. I just take it out. Something else you could do is make big batches of stew or big batches of soup. That's really good, especially in the winter time. But soup is really good for you. If you have a slow cooker or an instant pot, you can make a bunch of vegetables and you can store it and you can freeze it. And then that way you can just pop it in the microwave and you'll have a healthy meal. You don't have to think about it, and just put it in smaller bags. Also, preserving your food is really good. If you've learned anything about canning, jarring, or pickling, that's a great way to save money. Something else you can do is seek out community gardens. Now, what community gardens are? Community and urban gardens, it's shared plots of land where you can grow your own fruits and vegetables. And sometimes you can even swap out with your neighbor. Now, another thing that you can do is start your own garden. Instead of tossing the bottom of your celery, your romaine lettuce, or your bok choy, place them in the base side in shallow bowl with about a 1/4 inch of water, and then you keep it near the window and you'll see leaves starting to grow. And then what you do is when you see the root begins, transfer them to the soil, to a soil filled pot. So you can start your own garden. That's another way. Another thing that you can do is if you want to seek out community gardens or you want to find farmers market, a great way to do that is on Nextdoor. You can go into Nextdoor and ask people if they know of any community gardens or urban gardens, and that way you can use that as a resource. Let me know what you have used, which one of these tips. Feel free to share this information if you find that it's of value to you. Remember, before you start on any health program, whether that's exercising or eating, you always want to connect with your doctor as the first point of contact. Dr. Frances Richards here, sharing live at 5 with no jive, and it's amazing tips on how you can reclaim your health, and we're giving you tips on how you can stay healthy each and every day. Today was Eating Healthy on a Budget. Join us tomorrow at Live at 5 with no jive, and we appreciate you. Take care.